So both of these muscles are pulling on the diaphragm on this side, and both of them are pulling on the diaphragm on that side. So the diaphragm is made in two parts. If you read the anatomy books, it calls it the two leaves of the diaphragm. So the diaphragm inserts on your rib cage here. It comes up to the center, and the two leaves overlap like this. And there's holes in there. You swallow through there, and the major blood vessels go down through these holes. So when these two muscles are pulling on this, it literally pulls it open like that, and then the stomach rides up through and gets into the chest cavity. So when the stomach gets up through the diaphragm, and it's now up in the chest cavity, it's literally taking up the space the heart should have. Now you have two organs in a space that was designed for only one organ. How many can see there would be a problem with that? Well, the Chinese are very bright people, and for thousands of years they know the body is very economical, and the body doesn't use all its appliances at once. When you get up in the morning, you don't turn on every appliance in your house and run them all day long. So the body doesn't do that either. The body sends energy from one organ system to the next, to the next, to the next, and this goes on every 24 hours. Energy is moving. It just happens that all the energy is in the heart and circulatory system at noon hour. So now if you have to do heavy work, let's say you're going to dig your garden, or you're going to shovel snow, or you're going to move all your furniture around, do it at noon, because all the energy is right there to do the work for you. Now, if you follow this chart around to 11 o'clock here, let's say 11 o'clock you're tired, you go to bed, and you're sound asleep by midnight. Well, midnight is the exact opposite of noon, and that's when the heart has the least amount of energy in the whole 24-hour cycle. But it's okay, because you're in bed, and you're sound asleep, and you're lying horizontally. So when you're lying horizontally in bed, all the blood has to do is flow back and forth like this. It doesn't have to go up and down. It doesn't have to be pumped. This is very effortless for the heart to keep the blood flowing back and forth like this. And it has the help of the major arteries, because they all have muscles in them. Even the tiny arteries and the capillaries have muscles in the wall. So that helps keep things moving. So the reason I'm talking to you about the blood now is because some people don't sleep at night. They're out working. And when people are working at night, they get hungry and they go and eat a meal. And they tell you don't eat fat nowadays, but there's fat in every meal. And I don't recommend people go without fat, because your brain, your spinal cord, your nerve roots, even the insulation on the nerve root is all made of a form of fat. So you've got to have high quality fats going into your body all the time. But if it's the middle of night and you've had a meal and you got fat in the meal, it goes immediately into the bloodstream. Now your blood looks like this picture right here. Ignore the guy. Don't look at the guy. Just look at this blood here. All the red cells are all separate. They're all independent. And this is white cell is your immune system at work. That's a good thing. But the minute you eat a meal, I have another picture here. It's a perfect example of what happens when you eat the meal and it has fat in it. The fat makes the red cells sticky. They call it in chemistry increased surface tension. So one red cell sticks to the next and the next and the next, and they look like a roll of coins. So here they are, all clumped up in rolls of coins. They call it rouleau formation. So now, when this blood is trying to get through all the arteries and veins, the red cell is 7 microns in diameter. Now this, you need a microscope to see this, but I'm showing you this for demonstration purposes. Let's say the red cell's 7 microns in diameter, but the capillary in your heart is only 6 microns. So every time the red cell has to go through that capillary, it has to change shape and go through like this. And it's very easy for it to do that because it's like a soap bubble anyway. It's easy for it to change shape. But if it's stuck to every other one, they're coming down as a big cluster. Now it can't change shape. So you get a big cluster of red cells coming down the artery, hits this tiny capillary, it can't go. Now the fluids can go, but those red cells aren't going. They're going to be blocked up there. Now the heart muscle is not going to be getting oxygen because it's the red cells that deliver the oxygen to the muscle. So whenever your muscle's deprived of oxygen and you've worked it too much, you get a pain in it, you get a cramp. Same thing in the heart. Now you got a heart pain. You got chest pain, arm pain, shortness of breath, fainting, sweating. Maybe pain even radiates up into the jaw. I've heard of that. So you think, oh, I've done too much. I've overdone it. I better lie down. Well, now if your stomach has migrated up into the chest cavity and you lie down, gravity is going to pull that stomach down on top of the heart and it's going to crush it. And the heart has no backup energy. It's not getting oxygen. Now it's getting crushed and it's going to fibrillate a few times and it's going to quit. And by the time your friends call 911, it's game over. And if you call 911, they're going to tell you lie down and wait for the crew to come and help you. Don't lie down. Sit up. Drink water. Take digestive enzymes. And if you have cayenne, take a teaspoon of cayenne, put it in a glass of water, drink it down. It'll dilate those little capillaries in your heart and it'll let the red cells flow through. Does that make sense?